Hello friends, in this video of Android I would be showing you how you can handle multiple buttons with the help of this calculator app. As you can see over here, there are 4 buttons aligned in one single row, and the view group which I'm using is constraint layout. So how did I manage to align them one just beside the other one? Well, for that reason I have used the concept called chaining. So if I expand the button, you will see over here couple of things. First of all, you can see over here I have applied an outline style, so that's something which is very important. Then I've applied the chaining feature of Android constraint layout, the chaining style, and that's what you can see right over here. So this chaining will make them put together in one single, either it's a horizontal or it can be a vertical. That's how you can go for the chaining part. So how do you chain it? Well, let me show you that. Even let me bring right over here. See, first of all you need to connect all these, means you highlight all these buttons and then right click on this, any one of the button, you come over here, there's an option called chain, and go for horizontal chain. Well, right now I have a chain over here, that's the reason you are seeing the style type, but initially this style option won't be there. So first you have to go for horizontal chaining, and then I have 3 options over here: spread, spread inside, and packed. Well, packed will bring them closer, and that's what I have done over here. As you can see, the chain style is packed. So I did apply the pack feature, and hence because of that this button are now closely associated. And then what I have done is that I have given a margin. I have applied a margin at the start. See, that's the reason there is a gap over here in between these 2 buttons. So margin is there in each of this button except the first one, because it's already have a gap over here. So that will help you to bring them together in one single row by applying the chaining, and the style of the chaining is the packed one. Okay, and that brings you this object closer to one another. Now after that you can apply a height, like I have given a custom height over here, width as 50, height as 50, that what I've applied. And then as you can see right over here is that margin start I already said, and on the top I have given a space over here. See, there is a space of 10 dp, a gap is there, margin top at 10 dp space is given. So that's how these things are aligned. Okay, and for the background color I have gone for the background tint color over here. Well, this is not a material design, the simple button over here, but you can also apply material design in context to the styling part. Okay, and apart from that you can also do one more thing, that is called baseline. What is the baseline meant? So you select any other button and then right click over here, you get the option called show baseline. You can drag this button, you can connect it this way, then you will find that if there is any irregularity, that irregularity will go off by applying a baselining feature with them. Okay, but chaining will be enough to bring them in the same horizontal row. Okay, so that is a very important concept as of constraint layout is concerned. Okay, don't try always to use relative layout. Well, that is fine and that is fine, but to get yourself acquainted with constraint layout, because constraint layout has introduced different type of new attributes, and chaining is one such, and the baseline feature which I just now said is another important thing. Okay, now apart from that I have got one text view over here that will show me the result, and I have got 2 edit text over here. As you can see right over here, the edit text has an outline border, and I have created one in the drawable section. You will find one border XML file I have created. Let me open that, and I have applied a shape over here. As you can see right over, the shape is of type rectangle, and I have given the color, what kind of color you want from the color.xml file present inside the values, inside values color.xml. So here I have applied some of the colors I have created, and that's what I am using right over here. So solid color is gray, and the corner I have given, and the outline stroke I have given over here. All right, so this is something which I have created custom a border I have created, and that's what I'm giving a call right over here with the help of the background. So with the help of background you can apply this, right? Apart from that, I've given a width and a height of my requirements. That's really up to you. And the margin start, margin stop, all these things I've given forward, which you can well understand. And the alignment, text alignment is at the center, as you can see over here. Okay, and the input type is numbers, because I'm going for the numeric operation. For that reason, the input type is numbers. Okay, so this how the edit text has been laid off, and the ready text view is also very straightforward. I've given like the width and a height. I didn't give the depend upon the content, and the text size, the tile border, the text style border, I mean the bold, the font would be in the bold in shape. Okay, fine, that's all from the XML part. And now let's move to the Kotlin part. That's more interesting. So as you can see over here, okay, let me run the app once so that you get to see how the app is functioning and how it is working. So here is the app that is in front of you. Now, as we can see over here, a couple of edit texts are there. So for that reason, there's edit text, and there are 4 buttons are there. So these are 4 buttons, and at the bottom there's a text view for the result that is also there. So since I have declared this references, because edit text, button, text view, these are all class, so I would prefer to call it as a reference rather than calling as a variable. Okay, and since I'm declaring this reference, I'm not initializing them. So for that reason, let init var keyword have to be implemented. Okay, now I'm going to perform just a basic calculation. So for that reason, I have taken 2 variables over here of the type double, and I've assigned them the value right over there. And for that reason, I didn't write over here let init var, because I've already done the assignment straightforward the time when I'm declaring these variables. Okay, I can call this as a variable. Now you can see over here I've created one function called initView. Just let me show you what this particular function is. It's just going to initialize all these widgets. Okay, so these are all edit text, text view, button. What are these? These are called views, or you can even call them as widget. So I have just created one function initView. This is a function which I have given. I'm like, you can give whatever name you feel like, it doesn't matter, and just give a call to find view by ID, and then art.id dot the respective widget name that you have given in the XML file which we saw a few minutes ago. So over here each of these widget has got one ID, like you can see EDT first name, EDT second name, BTN plus, BTN subtract. If you notice how the names I have given, these names are very important. You know, I'm following a camel case format, and it should be meaningful one, and it should be very like you need to follow the naming convention properly, so that others they don't have any problem when in absence of you. Okay, so once the initialization has been done, and now comes the operational part, as we saw just a few minutes ago, that we have got these buttons. So what I'm doing is that I'm giving a call to the lambda function. Yes, you rightly heard, these are lambda functions. So setOnClickListener is an event, and this event, see, I'm just writing setOnClickListener for each of these buttons, because this is the event that you need to associate with this particular widget. And when the user is going to click on this particular button, the event handler is going to give a call to a function which I have written by the name called handleOperation. Whatever name you feel like you can give it, doesn't matter. And here I'm passing a string. So in case if the user clicks on the first button, I'm passing a string called add. Same way, I'm clicking on the second button, I'm giving a call to subtract. The third button, I'm passing a string called multiply, and when I'm clicking on the fourth button, I'm passing a string called divide. So these are the strings which I'm passing. Now why I did that? Well, that's how I will differentiate that which particular button or which particular operation I'm supposed to execute. Okay, so for that reason I have created one common functions, and within that function I'm going to apply all these operations. Now let me expand this function. Well, try to make use of like different methods. Okay, since you're working on object-oriented programming, well, don't call it as a function, rather we prefer to call it as a method. So my point is that you write the method, you write separate methods for each of the tasks that you're performing. That would give a very clear and very like you are following a standard approach. Okay, so for that reason method writing is most important. So here I have written a method called handleOperation, and passing the string over here as a parameter is accepting. So let me expand this and let me show you what I have done. Here it comes. Okay, please follow this thing very minutely, and you need to understand this portion effectively. So I already have got my edit text been declared over here, and I have already in the init view I have done the initialization part, as you can see right of these two lines. So everything is all set, and now user is going to give the input. So let me give the input over here. As you can see, as I put the cursor over here, the numeric pad appears because in my XML file I have mentioned that this edit text will have an input type as numbers. So for that reason you have the numeric keypad. So let's come with the value, suppose 55 for the first input. Okay, so edit text is the view over here, is a widget who has a property called text, because edit text by default is belongs to the, like as you can see over here, it is of type text, because even if you're giving a numeric value, but by default Kotlin will consider this as a type text. So that's the reason we have a property called text. Now we need to convert this text to toString. Okay, we have to convert the input which the user is given, which is initially in the text format. So from text you need to convert that into string. So for that reason toString I have to do it, and then from toString you need to convert to the respective data type. And since I want to work on the fraction, so for that reason I opted to double. So it can be to int, it can be to double. So follow the statement how it is working. This is the widget name. It has an attribute by the name called text. Whatever input user will give, that will be initially in the form of text. I need to convert the text to toString first, and from the toString to the respective data type I want the value to be, I want it into in the form of double. So for that reason I did it in double, and these variables are all type double, and initially they contain 0.0. Okay, so that's how edit text 2 is also going to work. So whatever input I will be giving right over here, let me consider this input has been converted. Well, when I will click on the button, then it will be happening, it will be converted, and finally it will be assigned to these variables. Now what I will be doing, now whichever button I will be clicking, suppose I am going for subtract, so btn subtract will be clicked. Now it is going to give a call to the handle operation. Each of these buttons are giving a call to the one particular method. Now how do I differentiate that this method is going to perform which operation? For that reason these strings will help you to identify. So if I'm clicking on the subtract button, I mean btn subtract, then this string I'm passing as a subtract inside this variable called operation. And now here comes our modern approach of switch case in Kotlin. So here I have a switch that is called when. So when the user is going to pass some data, then this particular parameter is going to receive that data. So since I'm going to click on the btn subtract, so it will pass a subtract string which will be stored inside the operation, and from there it will come to the switch case over here. And now if the input is what is the input I have given? It is of type subtract. So now if you can see over here, I have got add, I have got subtract, I have got multiply. So respective strings are been mapped over here. So when the user is going to click on the btn subtract, so it will be passing the string subtract that will be stored inside the operation, which will be passed to this particular when block, and here it will contain subtract. Hence this subtract will get match, right? Yes, exactly. Had this been divide, in that case btn divide would have been passed. So this string divide will store inside the string, which eventually will pass over here, and then it will match with this divide. But in case of divide, we need to check whether the second number is 0 or not. That's what one extra step you have to apply it. So otherwise everyone is straightforward, and then you can go and divide it. And if you are performing, if you are giving input as 0, then of course this message should be stated, and from here the program will return back to the exact, like it should be coming out of the control. The control will come out of this particular block, because furthermore you don't need to do anything, right? Because you already shown the message over here that this number is 0. Had that been the case, what I mean is, like if my input had been 0 over here, so in that case what would be is like, and I want to go for divide operation. So this is my divide, this is my divide. So btn divide will be giving a call to divide. It will pick up the first number, that is 55, and it will pick up second number, that is 0. And since second number should not be 0, but in this case second number is 0, in that case what happens is that if it is 0, then it will come to the result, tx result over here. So let me click on this. As you can see, error, division by 0, this particular text message got displayed, right? So neat and clean. and after this the program will terminate from here, because there is no point to continue further because you have given a 0 over here. Okay, but suppose if I give 22 over here, now what? And I'm going to click on the subtract. In that case, the subtract will come over here, that will forward it to the operation, and from here it will come right over here. It will pick up both the inputs which will be given over here, and from the operation it will hold subtract, and thus is like a switch case. So when subtract is true, then whatever input you have given, that will be subtracted and stored in the result, and from here the control will now terminate from the switch case block, because now neither of the condition is going to be true. And you can see over here, you don't need to write the break keyword over here. It will terminate on after this particular segment been executed, and the control will come right over here, and the result will be assigned into this text view in the form of, again, this will be first print typecast to string, and then will be hand over to the function called setText. So let me click on this. As I do that, and we see a very neat and clean value 33. That's the subtraction. 55 minus 22, we have a value called 33. So in this particular program, you saw how I'm making use of the constraint layout. I introduced you with the chaining, I introduced with the baseline, and coming to the Kotlin, what I showed you is a very neat and clean approach of writing the code. And this is the way you should write it. You should maintain the variable name convention properly. And as you can see over here, this function is just responsible for initialization, and then here I have given a call to the event handler, and each event handler is giving a call to the same method, and it's passing the string. And thereafter inside this we saw how the when block, which is equivalent to switch case, is working. Okay, so I believe this particular program will help you to execute and come up with an idea that when you have got multiple buttons, what strategy you need to implement so that your work is very neat and tidy. Okay, so that's all from this video presentation. In my next video, I was talking about a very important feature of Kotlin that is called intent, and particularly I will be talking about the explicit intent. Okay, so stay tuned and stay well. Bye bye.